Hi folks, it's Jay. I visited a garden that made me realize gardening is always more than just flowers or plants. It is about the cherished memories we create with our family and friends. This is The Garden by Courtney, featured on Open Gardens in Western New York, as well as Snyder Cliff Hill Garden View.
We are with the gardener, Courtney here. Can you say a quick hi?
Hi, welcome to my garden.
Yeah, can we join you for walking your garden?
Yes, please come.
Well, this is such a lovely garden.
Thank you.
The first thing I noticed is the begonia. It's just unbelievable. To use them in such a clever way along the pathway leading to your front door, making it so welcoming. So this is your signature design for this area?
Yes it is. And I love it because it's annual that'll last until the first frost, which will be until mid-October.
Yeah, they can take the sun. They're not particularly demanding on the watering.
Yeah.
So it's easy.
Very easy.
No one wants high maintenance garden.
Yeah.
We're already in mid-August now, but the color here is just unbelievable. You have the hardy hibiscus with the hydrangea and some of the annual in between under the Rose of Sharon, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what did you do with the Rose Sharon?
When I had it planted 10 years ago, it was a stick. And
do you cut them very hard regularly?
No, I don't. Last year was cut down to half. It was almost probably about 10 feet taller. So it's really come back.
So by doing the very dramatic cutback, you essentially revigorated the shrub. So that's a very good strategy. Some of the shrub, don't be afraid to cut them back. They may just grow back and even get fuller. This is an area on the side of your house. So you have the cosmos here. That is so beautiful. So do you find them reliably reseeding, self-seeding?
They do reseed year after year. I still do plant some every year by seed, but these ones that are blooming are all reseeded.
Oh, so you have different color, different varieties.
Yes.
Well, this is just lovely. And they bloom for a pretty long period, right?
They'll pretty much up until through September.
Wow. Okay, so they really provide the color for the late season interest. Well, let's take a look at your garden in the backyard.
Okay.
So how long have you been working in this garden?
10 years.
10 years.
10 years. It's been a work in progress, and it still continues to be. Moving things around, figuring what works and what doesn't work.
But I guess that is half of the joy, that moving things around, changing things in the garden. It just give you so much joy.
Courtney inherited her deep love for gardening from her late mother. Her mother would spend most of her spare time tending the garden, even on Mother's Day. As a cherished tradition, Courtney fondly recalls visiting gardens with her mother on garden walks every July. And she vividly remembers the way her mother would touch and even talk to the flowers in the garden. In the backyard, Courtney showed me a few special treasures passed down from her mother. I can't imagine anything more beautiful and meaningful than this in a garden.
Wow. The first impression I have is a very open space in the backyard. So you use the patio set, the white patio set at the diagonal corner just to create a focal point.
Exactly. Right. And when I bought the house, there was nothing in the backyard. No beds or anything. So every year a new bed was added.
Yeah. And so the white fence is relatively new.
That was put in 2019.
Okay. A fence is actually also a very important element in the garden. And especially if you use this type of a white fence, they provide a very good background, which you can showcase some of the other plants For example, you have this
Helianthus.
and they move along with the wind, just add a sense of a movement in your garden. I think it's just perfect because you have the fence and this border with the very clean edge, which provides the structure, so giving you the flexibility to allow the plants to go free. Yeah.
Right. I hope to make this garden a cutting garden.
Oh, wow.
So, but again, work in progress.
Well, you have to be patient to be a gardener.
Yes.
Good garden is not an instant gratification at all. You have to cultivate and be patient.
Yep.
Before I started filming, Courtney showed me a photo album with the before and after photos of her garden. She meticulously documented the transformation of the space every step of the way. The photos, along with her treasures in the garden, represent each chapter of her gardening journey.
So tell us a little bit about this garden sign.
That was my mother's, and she was a huge gardener. And after she passed, I took on her many of her garden decorations and
garden items.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Just
Thank you.
beautiful.
In addition to the garden sign, Courtney's friendships have also left their mark in the garden. She showed me something very special from her friend in this corner of her garden.
So you used to have more than a few mature shade trees along this
Yeah, there
side.
were 4 or 5 trees, so it was very shaded. There was also very low ground,
Right.
so a lot of standing water. So originally my thought was, before I had the trees removed, to make it a shade garden. So that's why there's a lot of hostas and the ground cover of bishopweed. As the years have gone, trees have died and removed, so this now does get a lot of sun.
Yeah. As a gardener, you have to be able to make adjustment. I mean, even trees, they have a lifespan.
Yes.
So you have to be prepared. If the tree has to be removed, that would change the sun, and you have to make adjustment accordingly in the garden. This is something people have been really enjoying seeing in your garden. So this is a picture frame. So tell us a little bit about this creation.
Yeah, so one of my best friends, Sandy Hoffman, she saw it online and she had asked, would I like something like that? So she had some scrap wood and decided to make it for me.
Oh, it's really beautiful. And you usually use annual flower as the floral arrangement in this particular frame. Yeah, just beautiful. You have a garden bed that is just magnificent right by the house. So even from a distance, I can see everything doing so well. The Baptisia on the left, and the Rudbeckia, the Salvia. You have some bee balm in the back, and then I see some of the large hosta. There's a hydrangea. Then on the right-hand side, you have, this is
Obedient plant.
obedient plants. So they have the white flower, right?
Actually, it's a purple flower.
Oh, purple. Okay.
Yes, so that'll be blooming probably next week. You can see it has all the buds. So
beautiful. And you have the Japanese anemone
yes,
and some hosta in the back. So one thing I particularly like for this garden area is you use the perennial in very large clump. You plant them in mass. So even though it's not a very complex design, you have maybe 5 or 6 different varieties,
right,
but you use them in the large clump. They just provide such a profound visual impact. And you mentioned some of those you started with very small clump, right?
Yes, yes, and every every spring I'm digging some up and sharing with other gardeners.
Yeah. So do you amend the soil for this particular area?
No,
like,
no.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, originally, when the bed was put in, but not anymore.
So now let's take a look at the garden area surrounding your patio.
I added the awning back in 2018 because it was full sun.
Oh,
So I like to sit out here and read or just look at the garden.
So this is a repurposed item you turn into a garden art. So this is just a typical trunk, right?
Yeah, just found it at a garage sale. And
Oh, wow. You should use it as a container. You just put the milling bag, right?
Yes.
And it just give a very whimsical touch. You have a few of different variety of begonia and you're doing very well here. Particularly the yellow one. I've never seen a yellow begonia in the kind of like a trailing form.
yeah, it's something I found this year. A little different, wanted something, you know, I like the darker leaves.
Right, they have a nice contrast.
Yeah.
Very beautiful. But one thing that is really special is this potting bench. So tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah,
potting
so
bench.
again, this was my mother's, along with some of the birdhouses and other little features, the owl. And a very good friend of hers knew her love of gardening and built it for her. Yes.
This is such a lovely touch.
There's a certain kind of warmth in Courtney's garden. I saw a possibility that one can turn the garden into a portal, connecting family and friends. In many ways, you would always be among kin when in the garden.
Well, thank you, Courtney, for sharing your garden with us.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.